here we are again. If you saw my last video, you know that I went to a proper track day, and I had a ton of fun. So, my S4 maybe was not the greatest thing to take to that, and I really wanted to do more of those this year with friends. So, I bought another car. I'm hoping that this one will be a much better fit for what I want to do. The ceiling, or the floor I should say, will be much higher than my S4, so we shouldn't have to work as hard to get it to be faster than the S4. But without further ado, here it is. So we're tearing straight into it. I'm starting off by doing the rear end reliability mods for this E46. These cars love to tear the subframe mounts out of the chassis. So we're starting off with subframe reinforcement plates, subframe mounts, diff mounts, as well as I'm going to reseal the diff and kind of go through everything on the rear end before I try and track the car. So I filmed as much as I could. It's kind of hard to film under the car, but the brake lines are off, the control arms are off. I've unconnected the drive shaft. You can see the handbrake cables hanging down. So pretty much at this point I need to do the brake line on the other side, on the passenger side, and then it's time to do just the 4 subframe mounts and then drop the whole cradle onto the cable jack. So let's get back to it. Oh, I've also disconnected the shocks. So pretty much all that's holding it in the car right now is the subframe mounts. Not half bad for an evening's work, if I say so myself. There we have it. The entire subframe's out of the car. So now I have new rear bushings, new front bushings, new diff bushings. So this guy right here, that guy there, and then this guy right here. So get all the new bushings in, and then we'll weld in some plates and put it back in. After returning from the store and prepping the plates, it was time to spray them with the cold galvanizing compound. This was to prevent them from rusting between the plates and the body and underneath the undercoating. With the plates all prepped, it was time to prep the body, which involved a lot of grinding. But first I had to remove the factory subframe bolts from the front, as we will not be reusing these with our solid mounts. But from my experience, using a grinding wheel or a wire wheel is probably your best bet for this. The grinding wheel is much faster, but the wire wheel is much less abrasive, so on the sides close to the tank and the filler neck, you don't risk damaging them. Before we can go crazy and weld in the plates, I had to repair one crack I did find. Now, if you don't know, that's why I'm doing this to this car. E36s and E46s, mainly E36s, they are notorious for cracking and pulling the subframe mounts out of the car. This is due to the really thin sheet metal they're made out of, which is part of why they're so light. But yeah, I have to go in and reinforce and fix any cracks in here before I track this car, so that I don't leave my rear end on the exit of a corner someday. Yes, I did just blow a huge hole in it. Alright, all ground down. I used a cold galvanizing compound to act as my weld-through primer. Got all the mounts ready. I'm going to let them tack up and dry a little bit, and then we will start welding. I went ahead and threaded all the bolts in just to make sure the threads aren't coated in compound, so that, you know, when I go to put this back in, they don't not thread. But yeah, we're going to wait for this to tack up a little bit, and then we'll weld in some plates. Alright, this one I had to grind a little more, so it's got some wet paint on it, so ignore that. But other plates are in. Time to start welding. Sorry for all the time lapses, there's just a lot going on here, and I'm trying to knock it out and make sure I do it right. So I haven't been filming a ton, but I've been trying to set the time-lapse camera so you guys can follow along and watch the process. But I did cut this plate down so that I can fully weld it without having to drop the tank. Because I was talking to one of my buddies, and he said that he wasn't able to fully weld it because he goes all the way to here normally. So he left it unwelded. He said he would have rather that he had cut it down and fully welded it than leave it unwelded and leave the plate there. So I cut it down so I can fully weld it. But yep, time to get welding. Now I'm done with them.
Do you think I'll burn out my iPhone camera by filming that?
I don't know. We'll find out. I've been filming this all day. Definitely not even my best work, but as I said, welding upside down is really hard because the puddle doesn't want to roll.
Show the viewers what are you talking about.
That one's really ugly. Let's look at one that's not so ugly. This, oh fuck. Where the hell? There it is. Yeah, so not my best work, but welding upside down, the pedal.
You got a point.
The puddle just wants to fall. Like this bead. Oh, you can't see that. Who's calling me? Somebody's calling me. But like this bead right here, the puddle wants to fall instead of running with your gun. So you're like fighting gravity the whole time. So not my best work, but it's on there. That's all that matters, right?
Hey.
Subframe brace. I just got to do the shit to make it not rust. Because we live in fucking Ohio. So this is where we left off yesterday. Got all the new diff bushings in, all the new subframe bushings. That took like, I don't know, 3.5, 4 hours. So my camera died somewhere in the middle of it, so I didn't get the rest of them filmed. But they're all in. It was not fun, but I was kind of expecting that. So next thing is I'm gonna degrease, clean the diff, re-gasket it, refill it with fluid. And then we'll put the diff in the subframe, put the subframe back in. I'm about to spray the undercoating on the underside of the car, and then we will go from there. So here we are, all primed up. Time to spray with some undercoat. Not the prettiest, but they'll hold. Just like that, all the rear end work is done. Solid subframe bushings, poly diff bushings, resealed diff, new shocks. I almost forgot. I knew there was something else, but I greatly appreciate. Oh, and the reinforcement plates. That was the biggest, probably the biggest pain of all of this was the reinforcement plates. So it's all done. I can drive the car and not worry about the rear end ripping itself to pieces anymore. So happy with that. Sorry about the cars in the background. Somebody is ripping in a 4-cylinder that sounds like garbage. But anyway, I appreciate all of you who made it this far in the video. Thank you for watching. As always, headlight discounts, 10% with code Simon and Cars at checkout in the description. I appreciate you supporting the brands who support me. I hope you enjoyed this video. The second part, which will follow this shortly behind, I'm actually about to get started on it right now, is I'm doing the full cooling overhaul, cooling system, so whatever, all the plastics and stuff. And I have the oil pump nut and the oil pump tensioner to put in. So that'll all be in the next part, and then I have a track day coming up soon that I'm planning on going to. So if all goes to plan, you'll see another video of reliability mods, and then we'll have a day on the track, which I'm super excited for. So stay tuned for that. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase.